A few people logged in there now, and I think there may be a few more joining. So, my name is Martin Kennedy from AgriDirect, and I suppose first of all, I'd like to welcome everyone to our webinar where we want to talk about a relatively new product to the Irish market. This Just before we start, this Zoom call will be recorded because there's a few people who weren't able to make it and they've asked that we send a recording over. So just that you're aware it's been recorded. So OZOLEA-MAST is a non-antibiotic intra-mammary device that you can use in your dairy herd with no milk withdrawal. So it's quite a topical topic at the moment, and we've asked some of the guys who have involved in the production of it and the science behind it, and a few guys who have been using it to come on and explain a little bit more about it. So we have some fantastic speakers here tonight. So Kieran Quilter from AgriHealth is going to open and he's going to explain, talk a little bit about the product in the Irish market. We have Elisa Murley from OZOLEA who will talk about the science behind the product and how it actually works and what it does. We're delighted to have John and Michael, who are two dairy farmers who have been using the product for a few years, and they will be able to talk about their experience on it, and we're delighted to have them on here tonight. So we are going to keep everyone muted for the moment when the speakers are going. If you have a question, feel free to put it in the chat. We have Lucia and Nadine there on hand who can reply to you, and we will have a little bit of time at the very end for a question and answer section. So any questions you have, keep them in mind and we can ask them at the end. So without further ado, I'm going to pass you over to Kieran, and we'll kick off on this.
Thanks, Martin. My name is Kieran Quilter and I represent a company called AgriHealth, and we distribute animal health and equipment products throughout the island of Ireland and the UK as well. So I suppose our bit of history with OZOLEA as a company spans back about 10, 11 months ago, where we noticed there was a lot of activity in the European market, and we approached them to learn a bit more about the product. And we had a number of meetings with Elisa, who was present with us here today, and some of our colleagues were quite interested in the novelty of the product, first of all. But I guess where it kind of stemmed from is, personally, my own background is from the pharmaceutical industry, and I do know that there was a lot of change at hand in terms of antibiotic use on farm, and there's a requirement now amongst vets and farmers to use less antimicrobials. And we saw this particular product in OZOLEA-MAST with, an alternative option, but there's a lot of research and development gone behind it. We did look at other options and alternative options out there, but we didn't see the same substance of science behind it as OZOLEA-MAST has. So we progressed the conversation further and we decided to take out our own internal trials. So we would have done extensive trials throughout the country, north and south, and we were quite surprised with the results. There were quite very effective results once farmers stuck to the protocol involved. And after the trial worked in, we decided we'd invite OZOLEA to come to the National Dairy Show in Mill Street last autumn. And we asked them to enter in the science category, which they did. And they actually won the science category. And not only that, they also entered the overall category and they won that also. So that in itself sort of compounds our understanding that the product was a very good product scientifically, even though it's not a pharmaceutical product. So we're now in the process of getting a full year at marketing it. We're looking forward to distributing it throughout the island of Ireland. And I'm looking forward to even Elisa's contribution here now. She'll speak about the technical attributes of it. And without further ado, I'll pass you over to Elisa.
Hi, good evening. Thanks to everyone to attending this meeting. I'm happy to present OZOLEA-MAST this evening to you. And first of all, a couple of words on OZOLEA. Established in 2016, the company developed the product after lots of years of research. So the interest was to find something that could help farmers without the use of basically active substances. So I will share now the screen to go through some insight. Just a second.
Yeah, that's perfect, Elisa. That's coming up perfect.
Oh, good.
Okay, great. So we will go through a presentation to know more about the product and specifically what it is and what it does. So as said, OZOLEA-MAST is a veterinary device for intramammary use. There are three different keywords that identify the product. First of all, it is a non-antibiotic product. So we will see that it relies on a physical mechanism rather than a chemical one. It's a non-withdrawal product. This means that farmers, while using the product, do not have to care about residues. So less stress on this aspect. And third, it's a non-prescription product. Because it's a veterinary device, we do not have to go through a prescription. So concerning its legal profile, one of the most frequent questions we have is about, as a matter of fact, if it is legal or not in the European Union. As a matter of fact, OZOLEA-MAST meets all the requirements that are prescribed for veterinary devices. We have demonstrated through different international standards that the product does not fall on the class of veterinary medicinal products. And there are three main aspects that allows us to say that. First of all, it has no active substances. Third, it does not exert pharmacological, immunological, metabolic action. And then there's no cure, treatment, or prevention of diseases. So it is important to know also how the product is made. We use a single ingredient product, and especially we use a pure vegetable oil, which is a corn germ oil. And through an exclusive technology, we obtain OZOLEA-MAST. So this technology basically modifies some of the oil's fatty acid chain, allowing the product, once it is in contact with the inner wall of the tick canal, to create a film-forming barrier that has two main functions. First of all, is to create an uncomfortable environment for bacteria, and thus to slow down the aggressiveness of possible bacterial attack. And second, to exert a sort of self-protection for the tissue from exposure to external environment and bacterial attack, allowing the tissue to proceed with a natural regeneration process. So we have an autonomous process occurring at mammary tissue level to get back to initial functionality and integrity of the tissue itself. OZOLEA-MAST is not able to induce this process, so the process will occur because of the two different functions OZOLEA-MAST does, and it will occur basically in an autonomous way. So there are several reasons to use OZOLEA-MAST. First of all, OZOLEA-MAST allows timely intervention on early signs. So as soon as we see the initial stages of a possible tissue disorder, we can intervene with OZOLEA-MAST right after milking. It's a non-withdrawal product, and this means basically to save milk from dumping and to avoid handling of residues. We can use it at any stage of lactation, so on fresh cows and also on cows that are about to be dried off. But also we can use it on different parities, so first parity and also more than one. We have designed specific protocols for any of the possible application. And we can say that as many of these applications will work for lowering somatic cell count, we also have the potential to fit very well into high milk quality programs. So we can expect something and we cannot expect other things. We can expect early intervention, and we can also expect that this tool reduce high somatic cell count scores. Also, if you use a dry off, so in the future lactation, we will see that there are lower levels of somatic cells. We cannot expect this product to work on cases that are basically clinical or subclinical mastitis. This is relevant, and as we said before, there's no active substances and no chemical action. To allow farmers the best use of the product, we have these protocols, and the most frequently used are two are for lactation issues. So we will have protocol M1 for the use on milk flakes, basically, and protocol M3, which is that for high somatic cell count. Then we can use the product also for dry enough, and we will use it when we have cows ready for selected dry cow therapy. So let's look briefly at the protocols. As said, protocol 1 is for milk and milk flakes. We know that in conventional milking systems, a good way to early detect mastitis is to look at the initial stages, or anyway, at any possible signs of tissue disorders. So we will do that at 4-strip milking, so before milking, and there are 3 levels we can consider. So farmers will look at cow, udder, and milk level. To use properly OZOLEA-MAST, we will look at the absence of observable changes in the cow, the absence of signs, so like inflammation or anyway hardness in the udder. Generally, the milker will be able to understand manually that there's a problem in the udder, so specifically at the quarter level. What we will focus on will be the presence of milk flakes. And specifically, the application will consist of 1 tube per quarter, twice a day for 4 days. We will check results looking at the absence of milk flakes day by day. Another interesting application is the use of the product with the somatic cell counts, especially high, but also chronically high somatic cell count. We will note first the individual somatic cell count for the cow. The application will be just at quarter level, so we will try to understand which is the quarter. For example, with a California mastitis test, this will work efficiently. Then we will have basically the application of OZOLEA-MAST in that quarter for 8 subsequent milkings, and it is like the previous protocol. To check for results, we should wait for at least 8 days after the last application. This because the product basically will need the regeneration process that occurs autonomously to happen. So what we will see is a reduction of somatic cell count that lasts. And to prove you this aspect, especially in terms of reduction, I have here a couple of data that Professor Hines from University of Minnesota collected from his herd. And this herd is something very similar to your dairy system because he works with organic and low input grazing herds. So they treated a group of cows with our product following protocol M3. And these are some of the main findings. First of all, we can see that 14 days after the last application of OZOLEA-MAST, was able to 33% reduction of somatic cell count. And here, there are a couple of data that deserve a little bit of discussion. As you can see, we have a general trend of lowering. And for some cows, such as the last cow, we have basically 50% and more than 50% of reduction. Some cows, like the one starting with 1 million somatic cells, basically had an increase. We cannot expect an overall reduction, 100% of positive results. Here we have a reduction that basically will lead to a lasting value. And also, they were able to identify information on milk production, and they compare milk production of the group treated with OZOLEA-MAST with milk production of a group that was not treated but had similar features. So as you can see, the blue line, which is for OZOLEA-MAST, we have a reduction of milk production, as usually happens when we have other problems. But then after the treatment, which ended the 5th of August, we have again an increase in terms of milk production. And this is not the trend we can see for the group that was not treated with OZOLEA-MAST. So we have anyway a loss of milk production, while with OZOLEA-MAST, we can recover milk production after the treatment. And the last protocol I want to discuss is the selected dry cow treatment with our product. We always stress the importance to work efficiently and especially to follow carefully management of the herd. And concerning selected dry cow treatment, we stress the importance to achieve an important milk production that is adequate to avoid stress on the udder before drying off. For the treatment with OZOLEA-MAST, we will look at those cows that are ready for selected dry cow therapy. So basically healthy cows, healthy quarters. And the application in this case will be, again, 8 tubes, but split in different ways with respect to the previous protocols. So we will treat each quarter with 1 tube at the second to last and last milkings. So basically, again, 8 tubes. Once again, it will be important to follow the cow after drying off with OZOLEA-MAST. So best comfort and the proper environment during the dry period, but also during calving, and always following other health monitoring during these particularly susceptible periods. One way to check results will be after calving to follow somatic cell count. And to let you know about some data we collected concerning this specific protocol, here we have a study conducted on some cows that were dried off with OZOLEA-MAST and cows equal to the group treated with OZOLEA-MAST that were treated with a conventional antibiotic treatment. So basically, we kept cows ready for selected dry cow therapy with the last individual somatic cell count level below 400,000 as per EU regulation. And we compared the somatic cell count in the following lactation between the two groups. And this is what we had. So the green bars are referred to somatic cells for group treated with OZOLEA-MAST, and the blue bars refer to the cows treated with the antibiotic treatment. We follow the somatic cell count for 4 months after lactation. And what we can say is that we do not have a significant difference in month 1 and month 2 for the two groups, while we have a significant difference in somatic cell count for the 3rd and 4th months. So we have much lower levels for somatic cells in cows cows treated with OZOLEA-MAST, while cows treated with the blanket dry cow therapy had an increase in terms of somatic cells. Other two important aspects are referred to the fact that the level of somatic cells for the cows treated with OZOLEA-MAST stayed around the threshold that is considered to define if a quarter is healthy or not. So the 200,000 somatic cell count. And especially what we can see is that this level can suggest us that we have a sort of carryover effect from the moment of drying off with OZOLEA-MAST to the lactation, especially to the first month of lactation in terms of support and protection of the mammary tissue. So OZOLEA-MAST dry off allows us to reduce antibiotics, and especially if we look at these data on somatic cells, also to improve milk quality. So this is all I have to say on OZOLEA-MAST. We can see that basically we have a tool that is quite versatile, helps us in different situations, and also helps us with overall management, as basically the regulation here in Europe are asking dairy farmers. So that now we have the two farmers speaking on the product. So I would like,
Thanks,
please,
Elisa.
Mark.
Yeah, thanks very much, Elisa. That was great to get the science behind it. So, so I think we're going to hear from, is it John is going to go first? So we've
Yes.
John Luttrell from Cork. He's milking 140 cows. So to see, you might unmute John there for.
John, I just asked you to unmute. Can you press the button on your screen?
Can you hear me now? Yeah.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, that's great, John.
Yeah, John Luttrell speaking here. Yeah, I was first introduced to the product by my vet, Corey Duggan. He came across it and he said he liked this again. He liked the science, the research behind it, and he asked me to use it. And I had very, very positive use with it. So then I was going to say, then I've been using it a lot for the last, more so in the last year, because last year I had 4 different people that were milking my cows. So it was worse for the safetyness of it. That was really pushed me towards it. But also I had very good results. And as I was just saying before, on the web before to their colleagues there, like my somatic cell count there, I was just looking at a few days ago, just before I came on this, and it was 116 in December, and that was cows that were even, some of them were housed in October, so I'm very happy with it. And like, as I said, like, was what pushed me for it really last was because I had 4 different milkers and I didn't want any danger at all of contamination of the milk. But again, I've got on very, very positive with it, and that was the only treatment that I used all last summer for any mastitis outbreak. So definitely I will continue, and I'm using it as we speak. Yeah.
Okay, that's fantastic, and it's great. It's great to hear from someone, John, who's actually using it, has had good results with it. Michael Dooley has also been using the product there as well, and I might just bring you in there as well, Michael, and maybe give a bit about your experience of the product as well. I don't know, maybe you need to hit unmute on it there.
Mute. Hello.
That's it. Yeah.
Hello.
Perfect. I can hear you there now.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Anyway, I'm from County Cork. I found out about OZOLEA-MAST through probably social media. I think first was the first I see, and we had a bit of interest in it because my son Paul farms with me, and being a young man, he tried different products that he bought online, and to be honest, there was not, we didn't get any very satisfactory results anyhow, but we liked the adverts and we liked the company, and I contacted the company, and we got some product from them, and I used them, and I was very happy. The first 2 cows, they had flakes in the milk, and I said, right, that was very early sign, and I used it, and to be quite honest, I used Protocol 1, and we got a very satisfactory return to milk production without losing any milk, and the cows came back 100%. I had another cow then, this was back in 22, and this next time I used it, and she came in one morning with a very swollen quarter, and I tried it, but as you know, and everyone knows, the value of the cows, I thought it was pretty severe, so I used an antibiotic with that, an antibiotic injection, and that cow had to be culled at the, I didn't take that chance, but on subsequent outbreaks then, we have a few occasionally, last year in particular, and I go back to what Elisa said earlier, that what is absolutely vital is timely intervention. Even if you get the cell count back, which we do from the co-op very promptly down in West Cork, and if you notice the cell count going up, it's a red flag anyway, and it's time to watch out. There's something there's something amiss. And we have used the OZOLEA-MAST in dim situations, and when we notice that, or even during milking, to find a cow that is normally quiet, if she gets cranky or something, and if you find some bit of a hardness in the udder, it's a telltale sign. We use the OZOLEA-MAST without any fear of contamination, as the previous speaker said, and we have got very good results. And I wouldn't say it only if I mean it. I think the company are very sincere. I met the company and Elisa at the dairy show, and I know they're not out to make just a quick buck. And I met the Agri Health guys, and they're serious about their product. And I, for one, I have no problem in recommending it without advising people what they should do. But it works for me. It's as simple as that. Maybe it mightn't do for others, but we're very pleased with the product. And that's basically it. Okay. Thank you. Hand back
Michael, thanks. Yeah, thanks very much, Michael. It's like, as I say, it's great to hear from people who are actually using the product quite successfully there. I suppose, look, there's a lot of information being given out here from the science of the product. We're all very aware of the way the market is, and the department's looking for a reduction in antibiotics at treatment and a drying off period. I'm sure there's probably a few questions there. If anyone has questions to ask, what we'll do is, Lucia, what way do you want to get people asking questions? Do you want to give them a thumbs up or something in the chat?
I have put up in chat if anyone wants to ask a question there, or if you want to put up a wee hands up, and we can get you unmuted and you can ask the question to whoever you want to from the panel here. So feel free.
Maybe you just unmute everyone just in the panel there as well. So John, Michael, Lisa, and Kieran there. Just to start off there, I suppose, look at both John and Michael have both mentioned about the safety of the product. And it seems to be quite a big factor. It's great getting the results, but I suppose when you have different people milking, but you both mentioned that. But you both have seemed to say to along the same lines, that you have no problem using the product if you have anyone else milking. You don't have to keep the same controls on what you're doing when you're using antibiotic treatment. Is that correct?
That'll be my experience anyway, Martin. Every time during the summer, we would have different students in. Occasionally, there's a lot of different things happen, and with the peace of mind anyway, that if the product is used, that there won't be issues with your co-op, and everyone knows what the consequences of that would be. So it is, and I suppose the fact that we're being asked to reduce antibiotic use is another reason why I like to use it.
Yeah, what I also noticed was the milkers, often when they'd say, "Oh, a cow come in there, I thought she was just a little bit, strong or hot in the quarter, so I gave her a chew." Whereas before, if they were coming in and that she was a little bit iffy, they wouldn't be as keen to give her antibiotics, because it would be a problem for the, you'd have to hold her for the next couple of days. So definitely, they're getting, I think definitely they're getting in earlier with problem cows, but because they have no worry or danger that they will be contaminating the tank, So that's what I find too, that we're probably getting in quicker with any little problems,
But Kevin, you've unmuted yourself there. Do you want to ask a question to the guys?
Just at the drying off period, when you're using tubes, you're saying how many tubes would you be recommending on each quarter? Also, would there be any need of teat sealer?
Okay, I can go with the answer. Okay, so the protocol for drying off cows, it's basically 2 tubes per quarter. So basically, you should look for those cows that have healthy quarters, and especially for the entire lactation, healthy quarters. There's no problem in using both our product and the teeth sealant. So the products are completely different because they do something different. The teeth sealant will create, let's say, an artificial plug inside the teeth. OZOLEA-MAST will support and protect the mammary tissue. So what we want is to have, again, functionality and integrity during the dry period, but also in the subsequent lactation. So you can use both. The procedure will be first our product and then the teeth sealant. And there could be a good combination between the two. But anyway, OZOLEA-MAST alone work efficiently. The data I showed you before were collected on cows that were treated just with OZOLEA-MAST, so not teeth sealant. So you can think probably the somatic cell count is slightly different from what you generally do in Ireland. But anyway, consider that we did not use the teeth sealant on those cows. And this is important because you have a very good effect in terms of somatic cells in the following lactation. So in the end, you can have combination, but OZOLEA-MAST alone will work in any case pretty well. So I would like to add something with respect to what John and Michael told us. Yes, I can confirm you that all around the world, especially we've been in the US last week, so in California, and we met different farmers. And all those people using our product on their dairy farms stress the importance of making on the fact that OZOLEA-MAST make milkers more confident in using it, not waiting for, let's say, a more severe situation of the cow. But anyway, it is a good tool to allow milkers work with less stress. So it's not only positive from a cow point of view, a milk quality point of view, but also in terms of management. So basically also milkers will be happy to have the product on their side because, yes, they identify early signs, treat the cow immediately, and have less stress for managing basically milk from withdrawal periods and also safety net. So this is really important for them and for dairy farmers.
Are there any other questions there, guys?
One other question just there. Let's say a persistent cow with a persistent cell count showing no clinical signs like flakes in the milk, but she has a problem with a cell count in a quarter or maybe 2 quarters. Would be worth trying this product in that case to see what would happen. You're not going to lose anything, so there shouldn't be any reason not to use it there, would there?
You can use it on those cows. When we say chronically high somatic cell count cows, we refer basically to cows that have shown persistently high levels of somatic cells. So we generally consider 3-4 months of high somatic cells. And the data I showed you before that were collected by Professor Heinz were from cows that showed high somatic cells, 350,000 to almost 6 million high somatic cells, so a really wide range of somatic cells, but for at least 3 months. So they were in their 3rd months, so they had these high levels for several months, and basically Professor Heinz applied our protocol M3 for high somatic cells on these cows, and he showed a good reduction. We have basically a lowering of the count that achieves lower levels that last, and this is really important. The effect of long-lasting somatic cell count at good levels is also visible when you see the data for dry cow, for the dry off procedure. The ones I showed you before that had green and blue bars. As you saw, the green bars stayed around the 200,000 level, and this is really relevant because it means that the count basically lasts for a certain period, so for a long period. So we recommend basically this product on persistently high levels. I think that Michael should have used it on some cows with persistently high levels. Michael, what's your opinion on this?
Yeah, I did, and I would have to agree with what you're saying, that the results were good. There was one, all right, I remember in the testimonial, I said it at the time, that we didn't get the results we wanted, like, but generally speaking, I was quite happy with the results. And there were some cows that we didn't expect to come right, but there was one or two that didn't, and we just called them, to be quite honest. They were recurring persistently, and for a while before that, they were very good cows, obviously, and we were slow to call them, but we just did it with them. But I'm getting good results from the product you're using with most of the cows, with most of them now. That we have the problem. We don't have a this year now. Thanks be to God, we haven't had the occasion to even use a tube once for some reason or other. They don't seem to be an issue, but I've no doubt that's going to change as the year goes on. You know, we're a spring calving herd. We only started about 6 weeks ago, so far so good. But yeah, I have no hesitation in using the product anyway. And
we just have a question there in the chat. So I milk once a day. Is there any experiences in such herds? Also, is there any benefit in using 2 tubes together when milking once a day?
Okay, in that case, we need to apply anyway the product at 8 subsequent milking. So it will not be 2 tubes per quarter a day, but it will be basically 8 days of treatment. It is important to follow this protocol because it gives the time to the mammary tissue to regenerate. So this is what we want. And this is especially in terms of quantity. I do not actually have information on anyone using the product on just once a day milking. I have on a 3 milkings per day. But anyway, it could be a nice opportunity to test the product because generally most countries all around the world milk twice, and I think that is quite something you guys do more in Ireland than in other parts of the world, probably in New Zealand. But anyway, the procedure would be eight subsequent milkings.
So sorry, Elisa, just expanding on that. So it's once a day for that particular farmer over 8 days. Okay. Same amount to choose, but over a longer period of time.
Yeah.
Yeah. And just on for robotic systems, if they're using potentially, if they're milking 3 times a day, what's the protocol for robotic systems?
In this case, we will have a slightly change in the days. Basically, the first day, we will apply 1 tube per quarter after each milking. So we will apply the product 3 times a day. Second and third day, we will apply the product on the milkings that are not too close to each other. So basically, it could be morning and evening shift, so every 12 hours. And as we have to achieve basically 8 tubes per cow, the 4th day, it will be just 1 milking. So it could be either morning or the evening, depending on when we started using the product.
Okay.
I do think you answered this one, but I do have a question here for how many tubes does it take to treat water?
Okay, so depending if it is dry protocol or lactation protocol. So if it is lactation protocol, it will be 8 tubes per quarter. We will treat just the quarter with problems. So if we identify milk fates at 4th strip, we will check which is the quarter with the issues and apply just the product in that quarter, so 8 tubes. And if we want to dry off the cow with our product, so with OZOLEA-MAST, it will be 2 tubes per quarter. We said we will treat the cow second to last and last milking. And we would treat all the quarters. So basically 2 tubes per quarter to achieve 8 tubes per cow.
There's one thing just to bear in mind in that as well, and it's something that has been mentioned to us as well a few times. The fact that you don't have to withhold the milk during that treatment period is it's a cost saving. So the cost of the milk that you're actually able to send to the creamery is offsetting the cost of the product. So whereas if you're using an antibiotic tube, apart from the safety side of it, you have also the loss in the price of your milk as well.
Yes, that's correct, Martin. One key aspect is that when we think of antibiotics, we should not think just on the cost of the tube, but we should think of the overall cost of the treatment. That is, using the tube, wasting the milk, and also we do have sanitary or anyway healthy aspect to consider, like paying, of course, the veterinarian that works for us. So when we use OZOLEA-MAST, we do not have to consider prescriptions. We do not have to think and worry about withdrawal periods. And basically, we will pay just the cost of the box to treat one cow. And it makes a real difference because, for example, for an antibiotic treatment, it could be from 400 to 500 euros, depending on where you are. And for the cost of OZOLEA-MAST, it will be from, let's say, around 35 to 40 euros. So this is what basically we have for our product.
Okay.
Does anyone else have any questions that they'd like to ask?
No, I think everyone seems happy enough. Look at, I suppose it's a product we here at Agri Direct, and I know the guys in Agri Health are very excited about. And we feel like it's a product really getting behind, especially the way the agri sector is going. And like there is a drive to move away from antibiotics. I suppose we are going to run a bit of a promotion there. For anyone who has come onto the webinar today, and we'll have a 10% discount code for anyone who's logged on. We're going to email it out to them afterwards. Anyone who wants to come into the store, you just mentioned that you were on the webinar tonight. Look at, I suppose, on behalf of myself and Damien, Lucia, and Nadine there from AgriDirect, and I know Kieran from Agri Health. Look, we were delighted to have everyone on. It was great to see such a good turnout, and we were really appreciative of the support that everyone has given us tonight. I don't know, Kieran, would you like to add anything after that?
No, look, just that, yeah, it was great to get the input from the two guys, both John and Michael there, from a practical point of view, and obviously Elise's technical expertise. Look, we've only got involved in the venture in the last number of months, and we're just excited about expanding on it and get out there promoting it as best as we can. So yeah, very happy with all and sundry there. Thanks for inviting us.
Yeah, John and Michael, appreciate you giving up your time this evening. So as I say, it's great to get a little bit of input from people who've had such good success with the product. And Elisa, look, it's brilliant to get you on. I know you're a little bit ahead of us in time, so it's a little bit later where you are. So and I appreciate you taking the time to come out and explain the science behind the product and how effective it is. So, and unless anyone has any other questions to ask, we might just we wrap it up at that. So, okay.
There's one more question there, Martin. I think one more point.
Yes, we are going to have we have it recorded, and we can get the recording sent out. It will take a few days just to edit it slightly, leave it ready for sending out. But we will have it ready to go out to people over the next few days, because I know has been a few people who came onto us and weren't able to make it this evening, and they were really interested to hear more about the product. So yes, it will be available. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's it. Listen, thanks very much, everyone, and we look forward to hearing from everyone over the next few days. And remember, we will get a discount code out to anyone that will be available. If you buy before Friday, you'll get a 10% discount on it. Don't be afraid. If you have any other questions, feel free to contact us here at Agri Direct. If it's something we aren't sure on, we will pass it on to Kieran AgriHealth, or we'll pass it on to Lisa in OZOLEA, and we'd be happy to get any other information you require on it. Okay,
Martin,
thanks very much, everyone.
Martin, sorry, can I just add one thing? I know that dairy farmers in Ireland are now in the calving season, so I think that they're almost done with that. And anyway, they have basically fresh cows. So also fresh cows have issues. So give OZOLEA-MAST to try on these cows can be very helpful to help them avoid anyway other issues during their lactation. So consider that, and consider that the product can fit in different situations. So we just mentioned 3 different protocols, but we have other protocols that can help you. So feel free to contact us. We will be happy to help and to give you indication on how the product works. And
Just to go back to that, you since you tried the products fairly soon after calving, is that right?
yes, when they show initial stages, so like milk flakes, if they have, we have basically, it's something that does not generate problems in terms of withdrawal periods anyway. It's not something that generates side effects. So it's something that is worked also in these periods for dairy farmers. So consider that any stage of lactation, any parity.
Oh, that's fantastic. Okay, listen, thanks very much. Thanks very much, Elisa. Thanks, John. Thanks, Michael. And so we'll be in touch. And thanks everyone for joining. So, okay. Thank you.
Good night.
Thank you.
Good night. No.
Good night. Hi, John. Thank you, John. And Michael. Thank you.
You're welcome, Lisa. Talk to you later. Okay.
Yep. Tomorrow. Bye.
Thanks very much, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Okay.
That now we have the 2 farmers speaking on the product. So